you never know who could be labeled a certain bad actor or whatever, who's ever hosting something from some whatever IP address, right? And this is sort of my concern, especially if we're going to look at cashing out as the system hopefully goes up, because everybody needs to have at least a bit of a cash out plan, right? I mean, and if these things go negative in our favor, the cash out plan is also going negative. I mean, there's no way that, I mean, how are we going to combat that situation? Or hopefully it doesn't happen. I hope he fights and wins, but I mean,
more than likely, this is what I think, in my opinion. I'm not a lawyer, but I've studied what's going to happen. Okay. If you don't respond to any sort of documentation for subpoena, they could just file for default judgment, because that's how it works. In a court system, whoever shows up for court wins, basically, the plaintiff or the defendant. You can just get a default judgment in your favor. Now, what will they judge? Basically, they're going to just take money from him. Now, the problem is, it's just a civil lawsuit. It is not yet a criminal accusation. But if they start to come in with the DOJ and start to come in and say, okay, now the Interpol's after you, that's when the real FUD sets in. Because then he's going to be on the run and an international criminal just like Do Kwon. And then they're going to arrest him somewhere in some foreign country. But who cares? Again, because it's kind of like he already set things in motion. It has no actual effect on the company. He doesn't do day-to-day operations. He doesn't run the website. He doesn't have any say in how things really are run. We are Pulse. That's why, we Pulse exist. We are Pulse.
Yeah, but
it's not Richard.
They're going after the whole system. From what I understand, they're going after. Basically, they'll try to shut down operations of Pulse, of Hex, of whatever, and anybody who's connected from that systems to the fiat systems. That's what they want to shut down. That's what they will effectively try to do, and that's nothing to do with Richard. Actually, at that point,
shut down decentralized finance
because they say it's criminal activity. They say it's blacklisted, and then boom, dings, you're done. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to withdraw dollars. They'll shut down Coast. They'll shut down everybody who messes with any of that Pulsechain shit.
Yeah, but so you could just go in Ethereum, right? You could just withdraw to the wrapped ETH, right? Because the wrapped ETH is still wrapped.
But at some point in time, once they shut down the USDC and the USDT over the bridge, man, that brings the price of Pulse down like holy smokes. Come on now.
Hypothetically, worst case scenario, OFAC comes and says all the USDT on the bridge is bad. And then USDC comes in and says all the USDC on the bridge is bad, right? Halts.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're down to 30 million complete on the bridge.
But say that happens.
What do you want to do with that?
I like how you go into these crazy scenarios. Say that happens. What's the likelihood, right? Is it likely? No. Is it likely that both of them are going to do that? No. Is it likely that they want to freeze
You say no, money? But I say I don't know, because I don't know the percentages. I don't know these numbers on this. I don't know this judge, whoever she is. Because
I think the problem is you have a lot of paranoia.
I'm just trying to test the fence line, man. This is like serious things. I try to look at all opposing sides, right?
Absolutely. Well, let me explain this one differentiation. There is possibility and there's probability. Okay, you're scared of possibility. You need to be scared
but I try to apply probability to make it mathematically. This is where my brain,
This is where fear subsides, right? Because you have this irrational fear because you're like you have a question mark in the number. But I understand the risk is very small, and this is irrational fear. And again, it's like, what if the worst case scenario happens? Okay, then the worst case scenario happens, and then Pulse goes down because all those stable coins have Pulse liquidity, and people will sell those and probably sell the Pulse.
Exactly, and then I'm buying.
The money has to go into something. The money has to go into something.
I'm backing out of your guys' system or wherever, because where should the money go then? What are they going to do?
This is the beauty of it, is that now we have our own native stablecoin, which is collateralized by Pulse. So Pulse itself keeps USDL backed, the value backed. So this can't really depeg once the redemptions go live, right? Because
all that shit doesn't matter unless you can take it actually out of the Pulsechain system into the fiat world where the people actually transfer goods and services.
And you can, because again, you can use the bridge to get out the other wrapped tokens. They can't freeze the bridge.
For sure. I mean, in certain jurisdictions, you're good to go,
and then there's all the other off ramps. There's like 10 other off ramps, right? All the other swaps, changenow.io. You can get out in basically any other currency. You could send Pulse and receive back anything on ChangeNow, anything. And they say the pair is not available. Okay, there's 10 other routes.
Pulse. I got a question then for you. If it really does go down, all the bridges, if we look at the multi-chain bridge hack, right? How many chains did that actually affect? How many chains were involved? It wasn't just Phantom. There was more chains that got affected from that.
Yeah, it was multi-chain.
Exactly.
That was the whole point, bro. So, but unfortunately, Phantom had one of the largest holdings on multi-chain because they didn't have a good native stablecoin. So multi-chain's like, hey, we'll provide this service after FUSD had a whole problem. So Phantom has just been, don't even talk about Phantom. Phantom has been a horror show since it came out, dude, with Andre
No, but
quitting and coming back.
theoretically, it should be good, the same as any other. I mean, there's a lot of change. Look, people are out there looking at all these different chains, and they're all different tribes, and they're all just bringing their stuff together. But we're not combined unit fighting against this oppression that's putting down on our necks real hard, and especially us right now with this Richard Schuler case at hand. And whatever this dude is going to do, I don't know. Guy grew up in Florida. He's kind of a gangster type, maybe nerdish, whatever kind of cat, whatever. I can't predict his actions or his movements, but I know within the next 30, 40 days, there's going to be some stuff going down for the Pulsechain. And this is like real news, like buy the news, buy the sell the rumor, whatever you want to do situation, right? And then it's also sort of, how do I predict what might actually happen in order to make the best situation for myself? If it's me, if I got extra fiat, I'm going into a governance token that's already producing some kind of governance for the future activities, productions, and blah, 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 developments. And that's Cardano, because right now it looks like I don't know who's making the decisions on Pulsechain.
It's decentralized, my friend, and if you're not, you're a part of the paper hands.
How is the decision-making process decentralized, my friends? Has anyone actually participated in deciding the IPFS rollouts or the shutdown of the hex or whatever, or this or that, or any of this? No.
What shutdown
People
of
are
hex?
just out there building
Why
their own
does
shit.
it need to shut down hex?
Most of them are producing sacrifices, robbing from the community and pulling it off of the bridge.
Did you grab a pipe or what?
And that's why our bridge is like lower than 100 mil.
Because I heard that.
Lower than 80 mil.
Anyway,
so there's
dude,
like
look at your paper hands. You're flooding. It's your problem, man.
It's not FUD. It's just real shit. I'm trying to test the fence line.
Yeah, you're being flooded, man.
I'm not being flooded. I'm just trying to
look at yourself. What if Richard Hart ceases to exist? What will happen to Pulsechain? It will cease to exist too. Oh my god! No, it won't, bro.
It's like Atari, DeFi, buddy. Man. Who plays Atari? Nobody's fucking playing Atari anymore.
Calm down, man. Listen, I think that the issue is you do have a lot of natural anxiety and stress. You've shown this multiple times. You are a very anxiety-ridden person, and that's normal. That's fine. A lot of people have anxiety, but you have to learn to embrace it. It's part of life. You cannot let it overrun your brain.
No, this is what you guys
irrational fear take over your normal logical thought process.
No. There's a
probability
of the tool
possibility
of emotions, and you guys were talking about earlier with the poker players. You said, "Oh, my emotions are a tool. I use them to my best effective ability."
Yes, right? You're letting your emotion overtake your behavior, and you need to relax. Okay, listen. Pulsechain is not going anywhere. We know that, but you get really excited about these.
I don't know that.
Little
man, I was with
scenarios.
ETC. Where is ETC?
Is he trying to say
anybody? And my dad, ETC is gone.
This is not like Tornado Cash.
Anybody could told you Ethereum Classic was dead as soon as the developers moved to Ethereum. You know, if you're still chasing that Hail Mary, then that's your fault because you didn't see obviously all the money.
No, I never chased the Hail Mary. I put $20 in. I made development there. It was my testnet. Well, what are you talking about? I don't care about
now you're making.
I knew that's not fact. I'm on the blockchain. I can confirm it, bro.
Okay, but now you're making it like you're like, what happened to Ethereum Classic? It fizzled. Duh. Okay, you're proving.
So
you're proving your own point. But the idea was that look, Pulsechain's fine. The USDC issue, even if it did depeg or get frozen or all that stuff, could be mitigated. It would cause a short-term dump in Pulse because people would naturally want to sell those assets which are paired against Pulse to go into something else which is safer.
I'm all for it.
It might even pump the Pulse price because people have to sell those into Pulse because again it's paired against it, right? So you don't really know the dynamic. You have to think about it logically. You squeeze one side of the balloon, the other side has to go out, right? And if say the bridge, oh, you can't bridge back out. Well, where's the money going to go? To the ETH. The ETH on Pulse will pump because you have to buy ETH to get out. So you have to think ahead. You have to think like chess instead of being like panic. Why don't you think more strategic? Okay, there's plenty of opportunities to make money. You just have to know where the money's at. Look at what happened in the past and stop trying to predict. When the stablecoins depegged on crypto networks, like in general, what happened? Bitcoin pumped when Tether depegged. When all the Tether FUD happened years ago, Tether went down. Guess what? People sold the Tether to go into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin pumped like crazy. So if you use that same hypothetical scenario, if one of these things were depeg, Pulse will pump like crazy because they have to sell the stablecoin for Pulse. So again, you're FUDing over potential scenarios which probably won't happen. Are they possible? Yes. Are they probable? No. So stop being so scared.
No, it's just one pivot point which the teeter-totter is resting on, and one side is our fat man RH. I mean, I like the guy. I mean, I got nothing against him personally, really. I think he's doing good things. But at the same time, I just don't know what's going to happen, and it's a little bit unpredictable situation at this moment in time. And if you guys are all amazing, and I'm hopefully amazing too, we can take advantage of the unpredictable situation. And if it drops, fuck, I'll buy even more. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Did you buy when it dropped to $46 per million recently this past week?
No, I'm flat out of fiat. I'm like my position in real life is kind of wrecked at the moment. That's just a fact.
So how are you going to buy
if it drops? Of being a monkey out on the situation. Out on the
streets.
How you expect to buy when it drops in the future? How can you buy when it drops in the future? See what I'm saying? Like, so
yeah, but I'm not the only one.
But you're not planning. You have these plans, but you're not actually planning to succeed with those plans because you're not putting forth the effort to do it, right? So you have it in your head. I'm going to buy when it drops. But okay, are you going to buy? Did you buy when it dropped? No, you don't have any cash. So don't lie. The truth of the matter is everyone's in the same boat. Everyone is out of dry powder. So understanding that liquidity is still thin. The money supply is shrinking. You can see that from the peak. It's down. It has not gone back to the peak. So you can't deny the facts. Facts are there. The numbers are there. But the fact also remains that inflation is still 3%. It has not come down to 2% like we want. Inflation has not gone down. We've seen disinflation, but not deflation. Okay, so difference being disinflation is a reduction of the rate of inflation. So now it went from whatever 10% to 3%, right? Whatever. But disinflation would deflation is different from disinflation because deflation means a physical reduction in that inflation. That's going to be going down.
So what's
your prices go down?
What's your status on stagflation? Because today they announced 0%. So now they're just trying to drag this shit along a little bit further. Well, I mean, it's positive for us, right? Because we can hopefully attain more coinage.
They're saying like basically the inflation has not changed. It's remained unchanged because it was the same from last time, 3% to 3%, right? So it's not 0%. That's a lie. The change was 0%. The delta was 0, which is again the rate at which we're inflating is still 3% per year. Okay, but that is not the consumer inflation. That is the core inflation. So they omit the most important things, which are the highest inflated things like food, transportation, and housing. So the most important things in life you need are not really being counted. So don't listen to those numbers. All those facts and figures are skewed. You have to understand the numbers they're giving you and know the difference between CPI and core. Two different numbers. Okay, two completely different facts and figures they put out the same day. So
dude,
anyway,
I'm just a working slave in the system, man. You're talking like things that don't even make sense to somebody who's like putting in hours of their physical labor and time into things that are just like destroying them over that time frame, right? So like trying to survive healthily, physically, trying to keep mentally on track and blah. This is the most important things. Like I get you with the CPIs and all these whatever numbers are coming out, but in my real physical world, what I actually experience, like come on, bro, everybody knows what's going on out there, and it's evident, right? I mean, the price of T-bone steaks. Come on now,
the T-bone steak indicator.
Yes, sir.
Well, beef prices will only keep going up. Let me explain why. Because of droughts, because of constraints on the farmers, because just the cost of the Cantillon effect, labor. You think that it's going to cost less money to pay the farmhands? No, man, it's going to cost more and more and more. So again, beef prices will only go up over time. They fluctuate, but they only go up over time. So it's not like T-bone steaks or hamburgers are a good metric to measure. You should be looking at, more reasonable things like what a house costs, an average house.
Also goes up over time at the moment.
Yeah, speculation. The big problem with that is the near 0% interest rate created a speculative fever, not only with rich individuals, but with corporations like Open Door and Redfin and all these other little guys. They started buying houses for speculation, Zillow, and then pumping prices. So individuals are in on the ride. But guess what? When the interest rates went up, all the available buyers dried up. So now we're kind of at this weird point where even the people who sell houses, the realtors, even the people who sell houses for a living are struggling to pay their rent. 45% of realtors recently polled said they were struggling to pay their rent, which is a really bad sign. If the people in the industry which rely on the housing sales to pay their own bills are not even able to pay their bills, not a good indicator. Big canary in the coal mine.
Yeah, but here they are attacking us, attacking Pulsechain, attacking Richard. Richard's going to do whatever. We don't know yet. I mean, we can wait maybe 6 months and everything will be past news already, for sure. I mean, it's not a big deal, of course. But my question
They're
is...
attacking everybody, man.
No, I'm not. Come on now, DMF.
They are attacking everybody, my friend.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, for sure. I'm not trying to attack anybody.
No. I'm
just trying to
that
test the fence
it's
line.
not only Richard Hart that they're trying to attack; they're attacking everybody. I mean, they got the most important thing from Binance. That is the data, everybody's accounts, information, and everything else. The United States government has access now. It's not because of the $4 billion freaking line. And like,
well, they got access to every damn thing.
ID
Don't they?
Block
That flows through the
about
internet with the NSA shit or what? I mean, come on, man.
But they don't extend their
They got IP
resources to go
addresses. They
and
got
get
freaking
information. If they
transaction
can send us
times.
subpoena,
They could freaking
and
coordinate
get
all that shit.
information. They can send us subpoena. They don't need to freaking attack through NSA. That's too much resources.
They don't even subpoena the data. They just get it. Come on now.
Now they do. Yeah, they got the freaking Binance CEO. So
this is why the SEC is doing this. They have a spray and pray attempt. They win about 70% of their cases in crypto, and even more in the traditional markets because it's mostly fraud. Now, if they win 70% of their cases in crypto, let me explain from a poker player perspective. If you have a coin flip, it's 50-50. If you have a 70% odds to win, you're going for the neck, right? You have like the straight, and they only have like a flush draw, straight draw on you, right? So you need to bet aggressively if you have a 70-30 flip. You're more likely to win than lose. So that's what they're doing. They know that they win 70% of the time, so just go after everyone. And if you lose 30% of the time, you're still winning 70%. You don't miss anybody. You go after everyone's neck. In addition, we are in Operation Choke Point 2.0. Same thing happened in 2018. It was recorded, and if you look back at history, hindsight, it was public record. They were trying to restrict KYC, AML, all these things. They stopped all offshore trading for a lot of people. They stopped all leverage trading. You couldn't even get into anything without a VPN. So they were choking out anything crypto related already. They're doing it again. They've been doing it for over a year. And this is just us feeling the choke. We're finally asphyxiating and we're like, oh, why does everything suck? They've been choking us for a year. And this is why everything collapsed, man. So the markets are going to do what they do. We are waiting for the interest rate to come down. This will cause a housing market crash, contrary to most people's belief. The housing market price is already coming down. And once you create a shuffle of sellers, guess what? It's going to be a panic to sell these high prices. In the housing market, when you reduce rates, people can all of a sudden now afford to get in that new house they wanted, and they can sell the house that they're in at a premium because the prices are high. And everyone's going to be undercutting everyone else. So you're going to see a crash in the market, and it's going to be good for housing buyers that people want to get in, and for people that want to rent, because it'll put pressure on the renting prices. So again, everyone thinks prices are going up. Well, it's because interest rates are high. Your qualified buyers are few and far between. You can't get out of your house with low interest rate to get into a new house if you can't even afford the payment. So what do you have to do? Wait for rates to come down. So naturally, prices on houses will start dropping when rates decline. We've been waiting all year for it to happen. Hasn't happened. It's presumed next year by summer they will start reducing rates again. I actually think the Feds are going to come back and raise rates one more time to start attracting more cash in the reverse repo facilities before the final reduction. Gives them more space to reduce it later. But we're at 5.5% Fed fund rate, guys. It's pretty freaking high, which means you're getting a 7% mortgage on a house.
A long way to go and see how like this really does pan out.
Yeah, we got about 3 years.
I mean, what are you thinking, Joseph? Like, what are you deeply envisioning for Pulsechain itself?
So what I'm deeply envisioning for Pulsechain is that, as it settles after the bull market, right? As it settles, it would settle at a decent price. It would settle at least 2 zeros in the digit minimum is what I'm hoping. But I think that the liquidity for PLS would have to be, a couple hundred million, right?
You just have to educate people about liquidity, which is the Tangang, and shows what we're trying to do is like at the top of the cycle, like you said, you want to pair with your favorite stables, whether it's ETH, DAI, whatever the fuck, like Coast, like whatever people prefer. And then, it's going to help the price not dip as hard. But what we had is people cascading effects and not, getting in there on the fees, because if you really wanted more hex, for example, you would have just been providing the LP from the top and then collecting more as people exited. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%. I just, because I'm a guy to say, hey, man, it might make sense to bring in X amount of dollars if I can play in a liquidity game, uh, even if it's at 300 million, right? It's kind of like if I'm gonna make money, I'm going to put my money into ETH, BTC, BTC, USDC, ETH, USDC. I'm not going to really want to put my money into something that I don't believe is going to potentially not stick around, right? As if crypto lives. Uh, Once I see that in post chain, then I'll be able to say I can make a financial decision and say, "Yo, man, this 3% looks really good. This 5% looks really good." And whatever that incentive is, because I believe I'm gonna get more incentive on post chain than I would Ethereum, right?
Absolutely, 110%. You're gonna
Yeah,
have,
and let people
especially at the
trade,
height,
let people.
they're gonna be getting hit with their gas fees and stuff. And yeah, big bulls aren't gonna care, but the average retail, it will make them. It'll price regular people out. Hey, finish this.
The good thing is that the market always does what everybody doesn't expect it to do. Everybody, you look at the sentiment on Twitter or whatever you want to call it now, X, and everybody's starting to bring down their expectations. Everybody was all talking about that 10,000X all the fucking time, and they've shut up with that shit, which I'm glad. It doesn't mean we're going to 10,000X. I don't think so. But I like the fact that when people start getting more realistic, the market always just does the opposite of what everybody thinks it's going to do every
Higher than
freaking
you ever
cycle.
think, lower than you can imagine. And
Exactly.
if we just sit back and get back to what we're trying to do in the Tang Gang and meme harder and just fucking take people's mind off price and just build, and like things will fucking do. It's like laying a track. It's like these motherfuckers wanted to rocket ship this shit when we gotta fucking build the chain. We gotta build the chain, and we have to show like why we have value, why people want to come fuck with us, and then they'll figure it out. As they see we're having fun, we got low prices, we're getting nice mad gains. It's not too bad at getting out into ETH if you want to cash out or whatever, etc. It's a beautiful thing. I block out all the fucking. I make fun of the cope, dude. You got to make fun of the cope. Embrace your own cope. Fuck it.
Oh, I'm blocked by most of the cope too because I used to screw with them all the time as well. So I know how that goes. Yeah, because when you say something realistic to people who are like in a cult and they're just moonbag, they just have these expectations and they don't. You say something realistic to them and they fucking attack you like you just like kick their dog or something. You know what I mean? Like they go off on you because you're giving them a dose of reality. A lot of people are finally waking up and realizing
Bro, yeah, but look how
things.
long, like, X is the train you to have a long-term mindset. Look how long it took shit like Ethereum to have true value. Like, that's super, like,
Yeah.
and as mass adoption comes along, if we're doing the right things, more people will come into the system, the energy will flow in, and we're the early adopters. So you already, like, as long as you diversify the right way and not, like, insane, all in the eggs and all in one basket, then you're fine, bro. I don't think you can really fail in this space unless you're just completely just fucking going into rug after rug after rug. Then that's like
Yep.
on you for not learning.
Exactly. Yeah. And everybody, the one thing that kind of drives me crazy is that we had so much time to, like, I've never gotten into liquidity with other chains, but this is my first time providing liquidity at all. And I provide in a few projects or coins, not projects, but I I had a year and a half of testnet, Pulsechain testnet to fuck around with this shit. Everybody did. We all had how long of testnet? I don't even remember how long testnet was out, but like that was the perfect testing grounds to fuck with liquidity.
Man,
Even some of these other,
exactly, dude. Exactly. If
yeah,
Famous was here, bro, he'd be fucking tripping out right now because that's all he told people to do was
yeah.
play with the testnet.
Oh yeah, no, I used to join his spaces back then before Pulses Live. Yeah, I've always
It
jumped
it
in and
was it was
we
the
always
move.
talk
It
about
was
it.
the move
Yeah,
to not do
to
nothing was
learn.
the wrong move.
And that's why I was shocked that so many people were so surprised about Pulsex. The ratio kind of lined right up with the testnet. It was almost dead on. We were like 1:4, 1:5 ratio on testnet, I mean, at first it was like 1 to 2, 1 to 3, but it slowly became like basically what it is now. So people are freaking out. Like, you know, you could tell who sacked for Pulsex and not Pulse. You know, like you could tell who got in late, and now they're all upset because they got into the one that's ratioed down so much. If you were on testnet, you would have saw that shit coming.